Heavenly warning. Archangel Michael warns you that an important event is approaching in your life. Jesus urges you to open this document within the next 15 minutes. My adored child. Before you breathe another breath, you must understand that this message has been unable to reach you on multiple occasions. However, heaven triumphed. Finally, it has reached you. No, you didn't stumble onto this. Orchestrated. Because you are currently unconscious of the gravity of the crisis that is already unfolding in your life. However, it is feasible. Michael, the Archangel of Protection, has kept a close watch on your route. I've been intercepting the darkness in an attempt to contact you. However, the future is unique from today. It isn't just an apparition. It is the result of others' decisions made behind your back. This is why Jesus is guiding the opening of this message in the next 15 minutes. Because what happens after that will either present you with blessings beyond your imagination or inflict anguish that you are not prepared to bear. This must not be ignored. My adored child. What's about to happen involves two people. One of them has a deep understanding of you. In quiet, the other person feels envy for you. Nonetheless, they are both linked to your existence in a way that allows them access to something they should never have touched. Furthermore, I am avoiding from using paradoxes. I'm now speaking plainly since paradise has been waiting for a long time. Your money seems blocked, your joy is delayed, and your sleep is disrupted because of a concealed, silent creature that appears familiar but has a deceitful aim. Furthermore, I was previously barred from expressing this viewpoint. However, by divine decree, I am now bound to divulge the information discovered in heaven's archives. My adored child. Before I start, I'd want to suggest that you pause and listen for the murmur in your spirit. You are aware of this, are you not? That strange feeling of desperation. The experience of being drawn to something significant, yet not knowing what it is. That isn't anxiousness. Heaven is striving to awaken you. This is God's voice whispering to your heart, asking you not to abandon this quest again. You've already ignored mails and contemplated returning to them later. However, this one is distinct. This isn't just about motivation. This refers to intervention. This heavenly interception is intended to prevent a disaster from which you will be unable to recover quickly. My adored child, if your soul recognizes that this is for you, and if your spirit is currently awakening, then subscribe to this voice of heaven instantly. This is not just to ensure that you receive additional messages, but also to let heaven know that you are paying attention. They endeavored to avert the succeeding phase. However, God demands that it be released. My adored child. Your name was spoken in an undisclosed area. Not in supplication, but in strategy. And that serves as the impetus for the entire transformation. You see, when someone speaks your name fondly, it brings favor. However, when someone speaks your name in an egotistical tone, it sparks a surge of opposition. Finally, two people, whether by blood or by circumstance, have made decisions about your property that were never theirs to make. I'm not interested in potentially frightening you. I want to prepare you. Because I have witnessed the effects of allowing this scenario to continue with impunity. One of them is spiritually draining your favor through silent jealousy and furious cooperation with voices seeking to limit you. Additionally, the other person has previously seized an item bearing your name. A boon. A part. An opportunity. It was meant for you to receive it. They intercepted it. However, if you carefully follow the instructions in the next part, heaven is willing to make things right. my adored child. There is a reason you feel that your blessings are always close by, but never quite within grasp. There is a reason for the impression of being at war with an invisible creature. I'm now disclosing it. Spiritual forces, rather than the government, are monitoring your presence in order to delay your inheritance. They understand that if you touch the words God has written in your name, you will no longer be under their power. As you ascend, you will liberate others. This is why they want to continue your pain. However, that will end tonight. Not by luck. However, upon awakening, through obedience, by accepting divine instruction and not questioning it at this moment. Heaven is preparing a reversal. However, your consent is required to make it possible. My adored child. This message is critical not only because of the circumstances around you, but also because of what is happening within you. You have recently experienced an unexplained weight, strange thoughts, unpredictable emotions, and untraceable fears. Your spirit has been under siege. You are now aware of the reason. Something has been orbiting your life for several weeks. Touching you was prohibited till now. As a result, this transmission was unable to be postponed. Because the moment this spiritual threshold is crossed, what was before hidden will be exposed. If you do not move sooner, you will lose your opportunity to protect what is rightly yours. I don't mean to scare you. Instead, this is a heavenly announcement from the throne of heaven. What you do in the next few minutes will be observed by Jesus. That reflects the gravity of the situation. Heaven does not send communications of this type unless the soul destined for them is in dangerous proximity to an object that must be stopped. At the moment, darling, that essence is you. My adored child. I'll reveal the part that no one wants to acknowledge. Sometimes the most serious breach is not committed by adversaries. It comes from people who are aware of your vulnerabilities. It is derived from the people you have grown up to trust. Individuals who pretend to be supportive while secretly upsetting your peace of mind. One of them is about to be revealed to you not by spectacle, but through spiritual illumination. This person has been beaming at you, holding your name in their mouth. They've been approaching you with completely inappropriate questions about your future. They have had a talk with another person about your finances, life, and goals, and they have developed a mental image that puts them in your shoes. That was the vision that paradise offered to me. They reject your success. They want to control the distribution of your blessing. Furthermore, they have begun the process of making decisions on your behalf without your permission. However, I've returned to get it. Not for retaliation. With this disclosure, God avoids shame. He discloses in order to protect. My adored child. My adored child. You have a strong intuition that something is about to happen, and you are accurate. However, you were ignorant that two versions of your future were being reviewed in the spirit realm. One version includes a reversal of all the difficulties you have faced, as well as breakthrough, favor, joy, and peace. The alternate version adds further delay, confusion, and an opportunity for those who want to seize what was never theirs. The version that occurs is determined by your decision at this specific moment. Your level of cognition. Yes, your spirituality. This message is not a call to despair, rather it represents a divine decision. Heaven is also keeping track of your acts. My adored child, your name has influence, not only on earth but also in the sky. And they tremble when your name is mentioned authoritatively, even in anguish. However, in recent times, your name has been associated with animosity, criticism, and hidden agendas. A close relative has used your name in a way that indicates control rather than prayer. They try to affect how others perceive you. To make matters worse, they have altered your perception of yourself. However, it is no longer the case. I am exposing their true motives. I'm exposing the information that was shared in confidence. To protect, rather than disgrace. Not to provoke confrontation, but to give you autonomy. The truth is being revealed in order to enable your liberation. My adored child. There is a reason why you are trapped in cycles. Why does the same struggle continue? What is the reason for the apparent presence of benefits only to vanish? It's because you've been among people who speak in circles and use empty phrases with no spiritual importance. You inadvertently provided them entry to your sacred sanctuary. However, God is currently reclaiming that place. He is cleansing the spiritual atmosphere in which you live. Individuals who are inappropriate for your upcoming chapter are being spiritually eliminated one at a time. Also, if it causes discomfort, allow it. This pain acts as a precaution. This pruning is for preparation purposes. You are not being punished. Instead, you are being cleansed. My adored child, I witnessed the acts they had planned for you. The dates they circled were visible to me. I observed the talk in which they said, "Do not be concerned. They will never discover the truth." I saw the account that was prepared for you. I saw the money that was spiritually marked with your name. I noticed the door being secured behind your back. However, I also saw God strike his hand on the table and say, "Enough." I saw him stand and proclaim his dominion over you. That is enough. Recover the misappropriated property. The decree is now in my possession and I'm approaching you. However, I am unable to supply what you have not received. I am unable to retrieve what you refuse to claim. Furthermore, I am incapable of protecting what you refuse to admit. My adored child, the following hours of your life will shape the following years. Indeed, it is that serious. The decisions you make today about how you see, believe, and act will determine whether you continue in opposition or walk in overflow. That is why Jesus emphasized that this word must be presented to you immediately, rather than later on. Delaying is too hazardous. A later date might be too late. Spiritual momentum is already accumulating. Your messengers are now in motion. The Council of Heaven is now examining your name. This is more than just a message, it's a spiritual rescue. Additionally, you were chosen to receive it. My adored child. Currently, a ray of light is attempting to enter your darkness, and I am convinced that you can feel it. The atmosphere around you has changed. A barely noticeable movement has begun. This is not a mere coincidence. It isn't only an emotional response. Heaven. The act of moving. Respiration. In this instant, I am communicating directly with your essence. I, Archangel Michael, have been tasked with protecting this moment in order to prevent it from being interrupted. The decision you make after reading this, whether to open your heart completely or to quickly scroll past, will be remembered in the spirit realm. It will decide whether the restricted item should be released or diverted. This is the cause for the haste. That is why Jesus has instructed that you get this message within the next 15 minutes. This is not meant to frighten you. Rather, it is meant to keep you from losing what you have already spent a long time acquiring. My adored child, it is critical that you understand the rarity of this. Heaven does not allow all people to receive messages of this kind. This information was not distributed globally. It was spoken into the ears of angels and delivered to a select few. Your existence cannot be treated lightly. There is a full future in the works, one that will change not just your finances and reputation, but also the course of your lineage. Indeed, this is beyond your skills. Your actions today will have an influence on future generations. A blessing is striving to enter your home, and it not only blesses you but also lifts every curse that has hung over your family for decades. However, the benediction will not be received in a home riddled with hidden betrayal. This is why it was vital to deliver the message first. My adored child, I witnessed it. I watched the exact moment when the blessing was to be granted. I could see exactly when the door was supposed to open. I observed the favor that was on its way to your financial account, relationships, body, and goals. And I noticed another entity, a figure waiting at the edge, silent and close by, attempting to grab it before it reached you. This person didn't appear to be a thief. They seemed to be acquainted. That is the reason this is so dangerous. They didn't arrive with loud accusations. They arrived with a sense of entitlement. They have progressively prepared themselves to receive what they are confident was meant for you. However, the truth is now being disclosed. My adored child, some of the pain you've been feeling recently isn't even your own. It is the result of others' spiritual decisions entering your life. You've been absorbing confusion that did not come from your own spirit. You have been experiencing a sense of heaviness that is unrelated to your current root. It is because an individual who is supposed to give you with assistance is spiritually related to you, yet their goals do not align with God's desire. They're mismatched. It also has an impact on your ability to progress, clarity, and peace of mind. Today, however, heaven grants you the privilege of spiritual seclusion. You will begin to perceive distance as a result of redirection rather than rejection. You will learn to observe others for their true selves rather than passing judgment on them, and to detect them. You are unable to include everyone in your destiny, especially not those who have hidden methods to thwart your growth. My adored child. My adored child. I'll reveal the part that no one wants to acknowledge. Sometimes the most serious breach is not committed by adversaries. It comes from people who are aware of your vulnerabilities. It is derived from the people you have grown up to trust. Individuals who pretend to be supportive while secretly upsetting your peace of mind. One of them is about to be revealed to you not by spectacle, but through spiritual illumination. This person has been beaming at you, holding your name in their mouth. They've been approaching you with completely inappropriate questions about your future. They have had a talk with another person about your finances, life, and goals, and they have developed a mental image that puts them in your shoes. That was the vision that paradise offered to me. They reject your success. They want to control the distribution of your blessing. Furthermore, they have begun the process of making decisions on your behalf without your permission. However, I've returned to get it. Not for retaliation. With this disclosure, God avoids shame. He discloses in order to protect. My adored child. Conversations are taking place behind closed doors. Additionally, they are unconcerned about your welfare. Someone asks, what if they never discover the truth? But paradise has already been constructed. That is why this message is being provided to you at the exact moment it needs to be received. This is not an issue of inference or suspicion. This applies to evidence from the supernatural world. Clear records are kept. Plans have been established. The darkness has chosen a date. However, it was immediately ended by God, because your name remains written in light, since your commitment is still intact, because what you own, whether spiritually, monetarily, or emotionally, may still be restored. However, this is dependent on your ability to anticipate the upcoming event. Only when you hear the voice of the person who was sent to protect you. I'm shrieking louder than ever before, because time is running out. Furthermore, any delay will mean the loss of the shift. My adored child. You're constantly baffled as to why certain objects stay inaccessible. The reason why the money appears and disappears. What accounts for the sudden shift from excellent news to confusion? It is not simply a case of bad luck. It's not just a matter of survival. Interference is the term. It's an act of sabotage. You didn't see it because they were doing it with grins, muted withdrawals, and feigned concern. However, heaven does not judge appearances. Heaven scrutinizes the heart's motives. In addition, we discovered a scheme to keep you stagnant. However, God has grown tired of seeing your pain as you try to be strong. You've put up with it for far too long already. Heaven is now delivering a heavenly deliverance. However, this is subject to your cooperation with the present speaker. This moment may never be repeated, my adored child. I will tell clearly that the financial gain you are expecting has already been recorded in your name. However, it was intercepted, abandoned. Not by mistake, but by someone who was certain you would not notice. Someone who felt alarmed when they saw your impending entry into the increase. Instead of respecting you, they obstructed you. However, the objective of this message is to empower you. This is your reversal. This is the time for your redemption. The diverted wealth will be reinstated. The previously closed door will be reopened. The missing item will be recovered. However, you must avoid from advancing beyond this point. You are not permitted to say, "I will address it at a later time." Spiritual doors do not stay open forever. In addition, this establishment is slated to close in less than 15 minutes. Heaven awaits your response, whether you choose to act or remain indifferent. My adored child. You have kept your resilience for an extended period of time, and heaven has witnessed every silent tear you have shed when no one was present. You've tried to convince yourself that everything will be all right. Despite the storms, you have remained happy. You have communicated your faith via prayer, even when it was considered as insufficient. And now is the time to prioritize faith over dread. I, Archangel Michael, have been sent to you not only to console, but also to warn you. A familiar face is approaching you, and it represents a spiritual threat. Not only is it present, but its timing is also risky. Because you are now far closer to attaining a spiritual breakthrough than you have ever been. The opponent sends confusion disguised as affection at the same moment your name is supposed to be invoked for restoration, abundance, or divine justice. And if you don't recognize the situation, you'll take what was meant to be expelled. That is why the Most High has commanded me to tell you before the next 15 minutes expire. The transformation is now underway. This is the window you are viewing. This is an opportunity to flee. This is your deliverance, hidden inside a message that may never be received again. Do you perceive the strange gravity that has suddenly entered your home, my beloved child? Your environment is distinctive. Your sense of calm is shaken. Your tendency to question previously simple concepts. That's not an accident. That is an example of spiritual defilement. Something has been spiritually placed in your path, causing a delay and diversion. However, God allowed you to go through it so that you may become aware of it. This is the reason your spirit has been so disturbed. I suppose this is why your visions are so intense. Because the impending tempest is more than just another trivial occurrence. It is a deliberate plan to rob you of the written words in heaven that bore your name. The alarm is currently blasting. I am aware that this communication has a significant influence. I am aware that it is unlike anything you have ever encountered. However, this is because its objective is not to amuse. Rather, it is to wake you up. I am not here to instill dread in you. I am here to rescue you. If you procrastinate, the lesson will only become clear after you have experienced suffering. However, if you act now, you will understand it as a miracle. My child, my treasured, I must tell you the truth without any pretense. The holy money that was supposed to enter your life has been touched, influenced by people who have voiced their support for you, touched by those who laughed with you but cried behind your back because they couldn't stand your brightness. These people aren't strangers. This is the reason why the betrayal is so dangerous. They are in close proximity. Someone confesses to admire you. The other person pretended to protect you. However, neither of them actually wants you to operate at your full potential. And now they have spiritually realized what they do not own: your inheritance, your donation, your fate. However, listen carefully. Their hands can still be withdrawn if you open your eyes in time. My adored child, my adored child. Do you recall an opportunity you thought you had missed? What happened to the position that disappeared? What was the nature of the deal that eventually failed? The unexpected financial crisis that struck you with enormous force for no obvious reason? You thought it was an arbitrary event. You responded by blaming yourself. However, that was not your responsibility. Interference was the cause. Someone used their energy, eyes, and control to smash your open door closed. However, the heavens have kept a record. Additionally, it is currently being reopened. And the most wonderful aspect, the new door's proportions will be enlarged. Strings will be omitted. It will arrive more quickly than before. However, this is reliant on your current relationship with God. Only if you don't let this moment become just another message that you ignore. This is not motivation, but supernatural action. My adored child, your life is being watched by someone who is seeking to reproduce your actions, intonation, and progress. Not because people admire you, but because they want what was meant for you. The truth is, they were never meant to be aware of the blessing. However, someone close to you notified them. A member of your own social circle gave confidential information about your phone conversation to someone who wasn't authorized to do so. In addition, you are being pursued by a copycat spirit. A person who is attempting to occupy the area that God has specifically reserved for you. However, they are ignorant that paradise does not accept imposters. The original has been blessed by God. Furthermore, you, my love, are the original. No one can portray your brilliance as well as you do. No one can replace the oil poured over your name. They will take what should have been yours if you keep silent, sleep, or delay your wake-up. My adored child, I can see your exhaustion. I admire your determined effort to retain a good mindset in the face of inexplicable circumstances. I notice how you pour into others and then empty yourself. I see how you feel abandoned by the same people to whom you have been devoted. I understand that it is painful. However, the skies are not completely unaware. God has observed every seed you sowed in quiet, every tear you've shed in solitude. While secretly suffering, you grinned at every chance. And child, it is not futile. The upcoming recompense will silence all mockers, unmask all pretenders, and raise you in ways your rivals will not understand. However, it is critical that this moment is respected. My adored child, you have requested a sign, unambiguous, something which is not puzzling, something that can be retained. And God says, this is it. This message is not just a coincidence. This warning is not ambiguous. It is not widespread. It is considered sacred, particular. In addition, it transports your rescue. I am not just telling you the truth, I am showing you spiritual evidence. An affirmation of the emotions that your heart has previously felt. You have been carried by a weight as you carry destiny. Because of the influence your life has had on others, you have been targeted more frequently than others. The assault has ended. However, this is dependent on your attentiveness. Only if you take action. Only if you extend your hands and say, God, I receive the message you are sending through Michael right now. My adored child, you are not injured. You're currently undergoing renovation. You are not late. Your alignment is being established. You are not overlooked. You're being reserved. However, the question remains, are you convinced about this? Heaven believes in you more than you have recently believed in yourself. And that is why this message has to be sent at this moment, before the 15-minute time limit runs out, prior to the end of your opportunity, prior to the enemy's continued advance. You have suffered an unreasonable amount of delay. You have shed an inordinate number of tears. You have patiently waited. Now paradise is in motion for you. My adored child, a spiritual portal is currently opening in your life. I must transmit this with the greatest urgency that heaven has given upon me. If you do not cross through this gate before it closes, everything you have been awaiting will be transferred to another person. Indeed, I alluded to someone other than myself. Not because God means to replace you, but because your time-sensitive blessing cannot be left in ambiguity for an extended period. Heaven is in the midst of transferring favor and shifting positions, and what was meant for you is in motion. Your spirit will return if it responds. It will pass if your heart is hesitant. This is not the time to wait and watch. This is the time to open your eyes and claim the things you have asked for while weeping. My adored child, I wasn't dispatched to entertain you. I was not sent to serve as an inspiration to you for a short time. I was dispatched to offer aid. This message is a spiritual intervention delivered in the form of words. You are currently surrounded by spirits who await your reaction. Your name is written in gold on one of them. The other two were deployed to keep the object from reaching you if you do not delay any further. However, your obedience is directly tied to the power of what heaven accomplishes next. This is why Jesus is asking you to react within the next 15 minutes. As a result, the item originally intended for your possession may be rerouted to another area. The prize is too potent to go unclaimed. Furthermore, you are the only person capable of unlocking it. My adored child, the troops watching you have been assigned only one task: delay. Delay, not demolish. The enemy understands that if he can delay you for an extended period of time, you will lose momentum, question your purpose, doubt your calling, and leave before the miracle arrives. However, the strategy is currently in shambles. Because this holy revelation has passed through the veil of spiritual distraction, you are not confused. Rather, you are being reawakened. I am here as your assigned protector, defender, and heavenly messenger, with urgency in my hands and fire in my voice, not as a distant celestial with golden wings. I am carrying something sacred for you. However, I cannot compel you to do so. It must be accepted unconditionally. My adored child, you have a strong intuition that something is about to happen, and you are accurate. However, you were ignorant that two versions of your future were being reviewed in the spirit realm. One version includes a reversal of all the difficulties you have faced, as well as breakthrough, favor, joy, and peace. The alternate version adds further delay, confusion, and an opportunity for those who want to seize what was never theirs. The version that occurs is determined by your decision at this specific moment. Your level of cognition. Yes, your spirituality. This message is not a call to despair. Rather, it represents a divine decision. Heaven is also keeping track of your acts. My adored child. My adored child. Currently, there are chats, phone calls, messages, and silent agreements that mention your name in ways that tear the heart of paradise. They are not aware of your pain. They do not understand your aim. Furthermore, they are unconcerned about the ruin of your benediction as long as they reap some advantage. One of these people has convinced themselves that they deserve the fate that was meant for you. They've been telling themselves lies about you in order to feel more confident in their conduct. What about the other one? They are remaining silent, allowing the scenario to unfold in order to maintain their status with the original parties. However, inactivity in the face of treachery remains betrayal, child. Heaven sees both. You do not have a paranoid personality. You're being roused. My adored child. Spiritual powers transcend generations. Some of them are spirits of envy. Spirits pursue the family's most favored kid, attempting to disrupt their inheritance. You were born with brilliance. At birth, you were given a calling. It was felt by your family, whether or not they knew what it was called. This explains why certain people regarded you differently. This is why you were misunderstood, undervalued, and skeptical. However, they were able to figure out what you were oblivious of. You were the one. The person through whom heaven will execute an astounding feat. And now that you're getting close to fulfilling that, the spirits who have detested your light since birth are rising. Not via strangers, but through familiar voices. However, there is no reason for alarm. I was deployed at precisely this moment. I was assigned to put an end to it before it expanded any further. My adored child, please listen to me. The delay you've been noticing is not normal. These are signs of spiritual tampering, unusual exhaustion in your spirit, perplexity in your decisions, and frustration in your finances. Someone has obstructed the free flow of what God intended. Additionally, it is not witchcraft in the way that one might expect. This is manipulation. It is a type of jealousy masked as civility. It is a contrived worry that hides self-serving motives. Heaven has reached its limits. God is on the verge of removing you from all illusory connections to divine fire. However, your responsibilities are obvious, so please accept this message. Please refrain from scrolling. There is no reason for uncertainty. Please avoid from postponing. The protection, breakthrough, and restoration are currently available, but only to those who respond. My adored child, you have demanded answers from God. You've sought clarification. You've waited, prayed, fasted, and considered the lack of an answer. However, it has arrived at this moment. The response is as follows. This is a download from paradise. This is the moment when your obedience will open something that has been locked for years. The money, opportunity, residence, friendship, and healing have not been lost. They were temporarily suspended. Blocked until your awareness was restored. The opening of your pupils has helped to facilitate the flow. However, this is predicated on your resistance to return to a condition of blindness. Only if you act in accordance with the new perspective you have been given. This is why the message had to be urgent. This is the rescue window. There may not be another following this. My adored child, it is critical that you understand the value that God lays upon you. The adversary did not waste time fighting someone without a definite goal. You were picked as a target. Your existence has spiritual significance. Every time you talk, pray, or breathe hope into the air, heaven rejoices and hell trembles. That is why it has been challenging. This is not due to your susceptibility. Your influence, however, frightens those who thrive in darkness. You are currently in a queue. Everything transforms at a single stride. One instant of doubt, and the opportunity is gone. You cannot ignore this message. You cannot say, perhaps later. This does not happen at a later period. Currently, this is the case. My adored child. There are moments in life when it looks like time has stopped. When something so divine hits your spirit that you can't move past it. Currently, that event is occurring. You may not be aware of it, but the objective of this message is not to just present you with knowledge. It is present to prevent an ominous catastrophe from entering your life. You are on the verge of a thin veil, a line between spiritual robbery and heavenly redirection. Furthermore, your subsequent actions are dependent on your selection after the completion of this part. Because the spirits that were meant to steal your peace are becoming upset. They may sense that your consciousness is increasing, that you are becoming more lucid. Your protection is now being activated. Furthermore, they understand that they only have a few minutes to try to distract your attention. However, heaven has already decided to intervene. My adored child, allow me to explore deeper. Your name is written on a document in heaven. A spiritual agreement. A pledge. An incentive. Something that was supposed to be delivered to you by the end of last year but was delayed. Not because you are unworthy. It wasn't because you were lazy. It wasn't because of your tardiness. However, this was owing to the intervention of a spiritually near person. Their jealousy, intents, and comments obscured your surroundings. They spoke the right things in public, but in private, they questioned your worth. They were skeptical about your ascension. They were concerned about your favor. They spoke in cursing murmurs, unconscious that heaven had heard them all. Those remarks created clouds. The light that was supposed to enlighten your path was muted by the clouds. However, the clouds are dispersing, child. As a result of this message, the barrier that had previously kept you from progressing has been removed. My adored child. Do you recall an opportunity you thought you had missed? What happened to the position that disappeared? What was the nature of the deal that eventually failed? The unexpected financial crisis that struck you with enormous force for no obvious reason. You thought it was an arbitrary event. You responded by blaming yourself. However, that was not your responsibility. Interference was the cause. Someone used their energy, eyes, and control to smash your open door closed. However, the heavens have kept a record. Additionally, it is currently being reopened. And the most wonderful aspect, the new door's proportions will be enlarged. Strings will be omitted. It will arrive more quickly than before. However, this is reliant on your current relationship with God. Only if you don't let this moment become just another message that you ignore. This is not motivation, but supernatural action. My adored child. My adored child. I am compelled to tell the truth without pretense. The holy money that was supposed to enter your life has been touched. Influenced by people who have voiced their support for you. Touched by those who laughed with you but cried behind your back because they couldn't stand your brightness. These people aren't strangers. This is the reason why the betrayal is so dangerous. They are in close proximity. Someone confesses to admire you. The other person pretended to protect you. However, neither of them actually wants you to operate at your full potential. And now they have spiritually realized what they do not own. Your inheritance. Your donation. Your fate. However, listen carefully. Their hands can still be withdrawn if you open your eyes in time. My adored child. Heaven was aware of the load you were meant to endure since you were a youngster. This is why your journey has been burdened. This is why others have continually noticed something in you, even when you have not acknowledged it in yourself. However, the weight now has an explanation. You're standing at the threshold. The threshold. And the events that follow are about more than just money. They are about power, peace, and purpose as well. It was never intended for you to live a regular life. You were always destined to be a divine messenger, an individual who will change the story for future generations. This is why the conflict is so intense. This is the reason the attack is so specialized. However, the divine realm has now intervened. I have observed the spiritual design and am aware of God's intention. He is attempting to release you. However, the divine release will be delayed if the hidden interference is not removed. Not because God doesn't love you, but because He respects your decision. My adored child. You've been praying for progress, but heaven is more concerned about safety. Because what is the point of overflow if the people around you are secretly creating leaks? The foundation has been weakened, so what is the point of promotion? As a result, I was directed to temporarily halt your blessings, not as punishment, but as a precautionary measure. Because what was intended to invade your life would have been snatched yet again. However, this time, God confronts it rather than allowing it to happen. Right now, by way of this specific communication, this is why your spirit is heightened. This is the reason your heart is beating faster. You are being invited to follow the path of divine consciousness. You have been granted an invitation to collaborate with the heavenly realm. The suppressed miracle will be freed when your spirit announces, I accept this directive. My adored child. No longer blame oneself for every delay. Do not believe that you are afflicted. You are not condemned. You have been chosen. This is why they had a disagreement with you. This is why they propagate stories about you. This is why they tried to emulate you. This is why they intended to harm you. Despite your lowest point, you still possessed heavenly evidence. However, heaven is now ready to answer to every falsehood that has been circulated against you. And when it does, the same people who tried to keep your blessing from being granted will see it fully restored to you. not as a form of punishment. However, this is due to the restoration procedure. Because justice in paradise looks to be a source of grace for the faithful. And you, treasured, have remained true in ways that no one has observed. However, God took note. In addition, I observed, and now everything is about to change. My adored child, I need your assurance that you will not overlook this problem. Make sure that the energy in your spirit is not stifled. Please avoid from postponing. If you ignore this moment, you will enter a season of lack of awareness. However, if you act now, you will be able to leave with a favor that no one can question. Right now, it is your turn. You're now being summoned. The moment for exposure has arrived. Now is the time for divine reversal. However, it begins with obedience. Heaven is watching. The timepiece is rapidly ticking. The portal is currently operational, but it will not remain so. Jesus is not just muttering, he is commanding. Open your eyes, child. Allow your spirit to grow. Please open this message before the next 15 minutes expire. My adored child. Fear does not produce the trembling in your spirit, the sudden quiet around you, or the increased beating of your pulse. It is an acknowledgement. Your consciousness realizes that this communication is intended for you. You are not accidentally reading. Divine alignment drew you to this location, due to a change in the invisible domain. The veneer has been lifted, and what was formerly hidden from your vision is now in full view before heaven. God has been watching over the issue. I, Archangel Michael, have been standing guard, waiting for the exact moment to deliver this word without hindrance. Currently, that event is occurring. And if you fail to act on the information you receive, treasured, you may lose something so priceless that it will take years to restore. Because the events occurring in your life are not insignificant. This is not typical. It's a transforming experience, both in peril and blessing. The final call from paradise is being sent before the door swings open and cannot be closed again. My adored child. Allow me to transfer you to the last time something you cared about vanished unexpectedly. The most recent occasion in which you relied on someone who then used that trust as a weapon. Is the suffering still present in your mind? Do you remember the sense of solitude you felt? Do you recall weeping and questioning God about why he did not warn you? The truth is that heaven made a try. However, the din that surrounded you was louder than the calm promise of protection. This time, however, will be unique. Why? God isn't communicating right now. He's shouting via this message. Please be warned. This is your deliverance. You just have one moment of divine insight to interrupt the enemy's silent plans. 2 individuals. A single action strategy. Additionally, your fate is uncertain. However, in his kindness, God has sent this message to prevent the catastrophe and change the outcome. My adored child. Currently, there are chats, phone calls, messages, and silent agreements that mention your name in ways that tear the heart of paradise. They are not aware of your pain. They do not understand your aim. Furthermore, they are unconcerned about the ruin of your benediction as long as they reap some advantage. One of these people has convinced themselves that they deserve the fate that was meant for you. They've been telling themselves lies about you in order to feel more confident in their conduct. What about the other one? They are remaining silent, allowing the scenario to unfold in order to maintain their status with the original parties. However, Inactivity in the face of treachery remains betrayal, child. Heaven sees both. You do not have a paranoid personality. You're being roused, my adored child. This evening, 3 archangels are examining you and discussing your physical characteristics. According to Michael, skipping this stage will result in the loss of the information they were supposed to convey. My adored child. This was not meant for your inspection unless the skies decided to grant you access. However, you are now standing on the verge of a moment that was whispered in the corridors of heaven before you were even aware of what would happen today. 3 archangels had been observing in quiet, but they stopped being silent tonight. Something is happening near your body, and the message it sends is astounding. It's sacred, heavenly, and time-sensitive. If you stop participating in this, you will lose the message they received directly from God. Michael claims that this is not a caution. This is a sacred revelation about the fate of your body. My adored child. Certain matters have not been brought to your attention. Your body has been experiencing specific sensations. Sensations and unseen motions in the spiritual realm. Experiencing abrupt weariness, odd hallucinations, or a feeling of being watched. It wasn't a product of your imagination. The archangels saw an item surrounding you and were granted permission to interfere tonight. However, Archangel Michael insists that this message be delivered to you before midnight, or it will not be received at all. You've been requesting a sign from the sky. This concludes the matter. Do not reject it, as the previously disclosed information will be concealed once more. My adored child, please take a moment to subscribe before continuing, because this message is only the beginning. The following piece will be sent along the same way, and if you are not present to receive it, it may be moved to another person. The archangels only communicate when fate is changing. Please subscribe now so that you don't miss any future updates. The heavens keep close watch. You are oblivious of the extent to which heaven is currently watching you. Michael, Raphael, and Gabriel, 3 archangels, have gathered to participate in a profound discourse about you rather than to pass judgment. Your physique, strength, your vigor, your fate. Michael, the archangel, says that we were forced to postpone our speech until this specific moment since the events we witnessed are no longer concealable. You are currently undergoing an interior metamorphosis that you have not fully realized. And if you leave this message without reading it in its full, you may never hear the knowledge they plan to reveal, neither now or ever. My adored child. Have you recently experienced unexplained fatigue or sudden bursts of activity followed by profound silence within your soul? These are not random. Your body is being monitored as it is prepared. Something heavenly is growing inside your physical temple. You were not meant to age the same way as others. You were designed for a specific type of regeneration. A youthfulness that is not appropriate for your age. A vigor that does not come from eating or sleeping. This truth was whispered by Archangel Raphael just hours ago, but only Michael was given permission to share it. Furthermore, he claims that closing your heart now will postpone the rehabilitation process for another season. My adored child. Have you not hoped for a change? You have requested God's signals in order to strengthen, for the aim of vitality, for answers when doctors are unable to explain the suffering or stillness within your body. However, what if the solution already exists? What if 3 celestial entities surround you in a halo of light tonight, and you are only a few moments away from getting the benefits you have sought for years? According to Archangel Michael, the decision you make after reading this determines whether the blessing enters the earth now or returns to paradise locked. This isn't just another message. This is an invitation for you to experience internal healing. My adored child. Before we begin, please pay great attention. This is not the only message that heaven desires to deliver to you. The current material is the first installment of a spiritual lesson. However, the next installment will be available only through this URL. It will also be transferred to another person if you are unable to connect. Therefore, if your heart is receptive, please subscribe now. Avoid performing it later. Avoid the temptation to say, perhaps next time. Archangel Michael claims that the scroll has already been unlocked. However, if the intended recipient turns away, the seal will be securely closed in minutes. Ensure that your identify is not left out of the upcoming revelation. My adored child. Something you thought was permanently lost is being reinstated in your body. A brilliance, shine, and flow of spiritual oil from above are unleashed, affecting your skin, blood, and breath. And Michael claims that your DNA will not be identical. However, this is dependent on the angels completing their task. It's possible you're oblivious that your body is being photographed in paradise. And the decisions they make tonight will have a long-term impact on the next 7 years of your life. This letter is not late. The timing is amazing. If you feel this sense in your spirit, it means the angels are close by. My adored child. Do not assume that this is a coincidence. The tingling sensation you are experiencing is not caused by your psyche. The immediate emotion in your heart, the flutter in your stomach, and the airy sensation on your skin all signal that the archangels are present. They only arrive when a sacred thing is about to be discharged. However, you will not be forced to do so. To receive, one must first be receptive. Archangel Michael says the oil has already been poured. Only those who have opened the vessel will be able to transfer it. Would you be willing to open it? If you choose to walk away, you will be left wondering why your body continues to feel stuck for another year. My adored child. Secrets are hidden inside your body. Secrets you are not aware you have inherited. A chunk of the burden you carry is not even your own. It was passed down from your mother or her mother before her, and it is part of your heritage. However, Michael claims that you have been chosen by God to break the cycle. You were not meant to bear their illnesses, delays, or injuries. Despite their willingness to reset your body narrative, the archangels are waiting for your permission. In addition, ignoring this will be interpreted as a denial. My adored child. As you looked in the mirror, you felt uneasy. Your intuition has signaled that the energy within you does not align with the destiny you believe is yours. It is not the product of your imagination. Your spirit is letting you know that the time has come. You were not meant to live in a body that is tired and deteriorating. You are a vessel of splendor, designed to hold heavenly flames. However, the mission cannot be extended until the body is revived. Archangel Michael says that the period of expectancy has ended. The gap between delay and destiny is clear tonight. Your body will react when you cross it. My adored child. My adored child. The encounter is accompanied with gifts. Gifts of the Spirit. Hands of healing. Prudence. Aspirations. Transparency. Insight that is beyond your years. Others are drawn to them but can't put it into words. This is your reward in paradise for obedience. You did not achieve it via excellence. You obtained it through surrender. Michael claims that your destiny will accelerate as a result of your body's alignment. The pace at which doors open will be improved. Delays will be eliminated. Even the passage of time will seem to benefit you. My adored child. Please don't overlook this evening. It should be marked. Preserve it, because all subsequent events will be traced back to this point. The moment you heard, the moment you had faith. I received it the moment you stated it. Allow other people to enjoy their laughing. Allow others to navigate. They were not meant to get this communication. It was made particularly for you. Your decision is honored in paradise. My adored child. Archangel Michael is present and grinning. Raphael is now affixing the final seal. Gabriel is writing the report of your healing into the heavenly chronicles. You did not pass up your opportunity. You've located it. You will now be able to pass on this advantage to future generations, as well as yourself. According to Michael, this healing was more than just for your bodily well-being. It was for your lineage. The curse has been broken as a result of your actions. My adored child. It's been completed. The scroll has been sealed. The angels are now ascending. However, the glow will stay with you. It will be communicated by your voice, gestures, and footfall. You are now a conduit for heavenly health. May the world around you begin to mend as you move, speak, and breathe. My adored child. Your recent encounter was everything but routine. Your spirit is aware of the truth, even if your intellect tries to deny it. You feel lighter inside, relaxed, improved alignment. That is not from outside, it is from within the heavens. Archangel Michael informs us that each celestial entrusted to you is currently experiencing joy as a result of your failure to escape. You didn't scroll past. You remained. You were attentive. You have acquired access to a heavenly portion of yourself that was meant to be lit, a luxury that most people spend their entire lives hoping for. My adored child. Synchronicities may occur in the next days. Moments that appear to be too well-timed to be coincidences. Weaving threads of confirmation throughout your daily existence to reveal the reality of this, that is heaven. You may have more vivid dreams. Experience a stronger sense of direction. Additionally, you may notice healing in areas that you neglected to address. This indicates the excess of what has recently been initiated. Michael asserts that the miracle has already begun. The accompanying visual representation will just confirm the Spirit's claim. My adored child, a brightness is emerging around you. It will be both spiritual and material. Individuals will detect it. When you enter, the environment will change. This is about presence, not vanity. God's presence upon a healed vessel. You're no longer alone. As you stroll, you are surrounded by the beauty of paradise. Every step you take now will be accompanied by a vibration of glory, Michael says. The influence will resonate, regardless of how gently you speak. My adored child. You are currently protected by the divine. Not just in the spirit, but also in the body. The issue you were concerned about has already been addressed. The agony that you were afraid might reappear is being suppressed. The despair that has occasionally reappeared is now fading in the presence of brightness. The archangels have imprinted a signature on you that is invisible to the outside world, but visible to any force that has previously attempted to harm you. Michael declares that they will not interfere with what has been sealed by the order of heaven. My adored child. Please refrain from treating this as if it were just another video, message, or emotional experience. This was divine intervention. Additionally, your next steps are critical. Michael believes it is critical that you protect the assets you have obtained. Speak vitality into your body on a daily basis. Avoid using words that convey sentiments of death, defeat, or uncertainty. Allow your tongue to align with the words spoken by the sky. Although the miracle has begun, your consent continues to move forward. My adored child. If you are feeling pushed to take a risk in your life, this is not a random idea. That is the outcome of the rehabilitation process. It awakens, rather than simply repairing. In addition, you have been roused. You'll resume dreaming. Relocate once more. Smile effortlessly. Laugh without regret. Your body is absorbing the pleasures of heaven. Michael claims that your body has now been in sync with your future. Stride with confidence. The root is unambiguous. My adored child. This message will be available for your inspection at any time. However, the force of the angelic visitation is once again ascending into the throne room. They have fulfilled their goal. They are now observing. From above, guided by silence, silently instructing, rejoicing, quietly planning for next events. According to Michael, you will hear from them once more. However, this is dependent on maintaining an open heart, an active spirit, and a sustainable faith. As this sacred message comes to an end, I'd like to remind you of a fact that the adversary hoped you'd never discover. Your body is more than just a container. It's a voice. A voice that exudes brightness. A voice that represents a legacy. A voice lately touched, mended, and sparked by the divine. Michael claims that you are no longer walking silently. You shine as you walk. And every step you take from this point on will be repeated in the spirit realm as evidence that this person was touched by paradise. My adored child, this message was not delivered to you by accident. You were referred to this location. Defeated, preserved, observed. And now the crown is bestowed. Instead of gold, she is crowned with brilliance. The form of illumination that cannot be replicated, stolen, or faked. It is the product of selection. It's the outcome of giving up. It results from staying till the end. Heaven anticipated your decision to stay, and you eventually chose to do so. Michael claims that you will now be held accountable for what others might only dream. My adored child. You may not have a complete comprehension of what happened to you this evening. However, the fruits of this moment will begin to mature in the next days, weeks, and perhaps years. Strength will be felt in the places where you were previously broken. You will move, think, and feel differently than other people. Your body will respond to your future, not the past. As a result of the divine plan that has now influenced your DNA. You are walking in a post-healing body, Michael says. Avoid resuming pre-healing behaviors. My adored child. My adored child. This message was not delivered to you by accident. You were referred to this location. Defeated. Preserved. Observed. And now the crown is bestowed. Instead of gold, she is crowned with brilliance. The form of illumination that cannot be replicated, stolen, or faked. It is the product of selection. It's the outcome of giving up. It results from staying till the end. Heaven anticipated your decision to stay, and you eventually chose to do so. Michael claims that you will now be held accountable for what others might only dream. My adored child. You may not have a complete comprehension of what happened to you this evening. However, the fruits of this moment will begin to mature in the next days, weeks, and perhaps years. Strength will be felt in the places where you were previously broken. You will move, think, and feel differently than other people. Your body will respond to your future, not the past. As a result of the divine plan that has now influenced your DNA, you are walking in a post-healing body, Michael says. Avoid resuming pre-healing behaviors. My adored child. Allow this to mark the beginning of your new partnership with the divine. Speak from your heart. Send a striking message. Every morning, say words of rebirth over yourself. The archangels are not leaving. They are simply going silent to allow you to speak up. According to Michael, your recovery was never just about your physical health. It was also about rediscovering your heavenly rhythm, luminosity, and voice. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I will not wait for your response to the following message. It will include the ensuing stages of divine education, revelation, and healing. The archangels are ready to communicate once more, and this is the conduit they will choose. If your name is not on the list of subscribers, you may not receive the next call in a timely manner. Please avoid from postponing. Secure your connection at this time. My adored child. The battle for your body has already begun in regions beyond your awareness. The feelings of lethargy, delay, or tiredness you've been having are the result of that conflict. However, the archangels were triumphant. They kept you safe from the most terrible features of the situation. And now they're attempting to regain what was nearly seized. Michael states that the stolen item will be returned 7 times. However, only if you believe you are still worthy of receiving. If you've lost faith in your body, tonight is your chance to recover it. Not by your own strength, but via the power of divinity. My adored child. Isn't it odd that your name appears regularly in divine conversations? However, why are holy entities still observing you in your position of weakness? The explanation is that your aim did not expire. And your body, this vessel, is still required for the accomplishment of that calling. Certain objects are only yours to transport. Assignments that are solely your responsibility. Voices like yours are unusual. Michael says that your voice, contact, and walk are all important. Your body must first be restored to its divine state. And the repair is currently ongoing, breath by breath. My adored child. Some prayers you may have forgotten to say, but heaven never did. Some evenings you grieved yourself to sleep, asking for vitality, healing, and completeness. Regardless of whether you had given up hope, the archangels continued to react. Your name was written in brightness. They've been getting ready for this moment every day since. This window. This is communication. Michael maintains that your healing is not only for your own benefit, but also for the good of everyone you are meant to affect. Their blessing will also be delayed if you give up now. That reflects the gravity of the situation. My adored child. The archangels are currently in the process of writing a fresh message on your body. Not in human ink, but in celestial fire. They are turning anguish into fortitude. Move from tiredness to insight. Converting vulnerability into understanding. Divine hands are editing your narrative. According to Michael, the old report is being thrown away. The most recent report uses the terms whole, radiant, and selected. However, if you continue to live as if you are damaged, you will miss the blessing that is already trying to rest in your bones. My adored child, it is critical to remember that your body is the home of your spirit. It is the location where paradise exists while you are on earth. Would paradise build a sacred object only to leave it in disrepair? False. Heaven builds to last. As a result, they have sent this message not only to motivate you, but also to reconstruct you. Archangel Michael claims that this message is not motivational, but rather therapeutic. If your spirit consumes it, your cells will begin to respond. Something is currently being expelled from your bloodstream. My adored child. The divine reversal begins at the cellular level. You will not experience everything all at once, but it has already begun. Fatigue is being exchanged for a feeling of newness. Sharpness is replacing fogginess. The ache is subsiding. The inflammation is subsiding. Michael claims that your body is being altered rather than fixed. This is the type of miracle that cannot be purchased, borrowed, or manufactured. It can only be received. However, it must be received with whole attention, not with a half-hearted attempt or apprehension, but with total surrender. My adored child, you've considered whether it is too late. You contemplated the potential that I would be forced to continue living in this manner. However, paradise is under decline. God is not advocating for your survival in a body that barely functions. He invites you to live in a body that can hold your blessings, future, and happiness. According to Michael, you are going through a spiritual, mental, and bodily makeover. But the choice is yours. Stick with the restrictions or climb with the light. The archangels will not force you to do this. However, if you reply affirmatively now, they will investigate deeper. My adored child, you are currently experiencing an unusual sense of calm. That's not an accident. This is the quiet of divine presence. Heaven always silences the noise before a big event begins. This is the moment of mutual agreement. Michael promises that if you say yes in your heart, the procedure will begin immediately. A scroll has been opened. The lights have been turned on. The oil is prepared. They are expecting a signal from your essence. My adored child, you are standing on the edge of an area that has yet to be unlocked for anyone else. Heaven delayed this communication 3 times to ensure that the sequence was perfect. It's not too early. It's not too late. Michael explains that this evening was chosen because your body is now ready to accept what it was previously unable to hold. This message is designed for your cells, bones, and very breath, not your hearing. Your physique is currently being touched by the presence of heaven. The question is, will you let it permeate your being, or will you suppress the very thing that was meant to revitalize you? My adored child. They notice the tightness in your shoulders, the soreness in your lower back, the feeling of lethargy that you get when you wake up, which goes away when you're with other people but returns when you're alone. Michael claims that this is more than just exhaustion. It's spiritual congestion. Furthermore, on this evening, the archangels were allowed authority to settle the dispute. However, this does not happen automatically. Indeed, they predict your deepest thoughts. They anticipate your progressive leaning. They await the sacred silence in which your spirit signals, I am attentive. The work begins at that point. My adored child. If you're still reading this, your body has already begun to transform. The flow began the moment you said yes, even if it was silently. You are not getting heavenly radiance. It's being expressed through you. Your body is no longer only receptive. It emits radiation. Heaven is not just restoring your health, it is also making you into a healer for others. Michael claims that a day is approaching when someone will stand close to you and experience an unexplained sensation. This is the ongoing impact of the current scenario. My adored child. A new alignment is occurring in your body, mind, and spirit. It is not coerced. It's not audible. It is considered sacred, gentle. However, it is irrevocable. The way you express yourself is altering. Glory is changing the way you breathe, think, and even how your skin absorbs light. According to Michael, you are not only being made well, the process of reformatting you is now beginning. Heaven is resetting a system tainted by years of anxiety, dread, curses, and emotional wear. If you let it, this reset will continue. My adored child. My adored child. If you are feeling heated right now, even if it is gentle on your face, back, or limbs, it is not caused by your own body. That is a manifestation of the celestial presence. Furthermore, the feeling of shivers is not indicative of dread. That's a wing brush. One of them is currently reaching out to you, not to create harm, but to provide blessings. Pass it on. To reignite a dormant flame. Michael claims that this flame is your inheritance. Life concealed it, despite the fact that it was implanted in you before you were born. We'll disclose it tonight. However, you must avoid from scrolling beyond this point. Only if you hold it as sacred. My adored child. Currently, an element of sanctity exists in the invisible gap between this communication and your spirit. Is this something that speaks to you? Is there a sense that something beyond words is calling to you? Michael asserts that this is more than just a perspective. This is an encounter. And this isn't available to everyone. 3 archangels have etched your name on an altar in a spiritual healing room. You are being extended an invitation. They have been anticipating your quiet for a long time in order to connect with you. Avoid moving. Do not dismiss this. Currently, a sacred process is beginning. My adored child. Divine hands are approaching your spine. In the direction of your midriff. In the same direction as the strain in your rib cage. Your body has been attempting to communicate through pains, pulses, flutterings, exhaustion, sudden hunger, and chills, but you have misread the signals. However, the archangels understand them completely. They have interpreted every complaint coming from your bones. Your breath is exhaled with each exhalation while sleeping. Archangel Raphael, the healer, will appear tonight. Michael claims he will manipulate parts of your body that doctors have been unable to locate. However, this is based on your continuing presence. Only if you extend your surrender for a short time. My adored child. You terminated requests for specific things because you believed that too much time had passed. You contemplated the notion that this was just my new normal. However, heaven disagrees. God has not yet completed the narrative of your flesh. The presence of the archangels is due to the fact that the following chapter is named Reversal and Restoration. This is why your body is subjected to supernatural examination. According to Michael, the reversal will begin in silence, first spiritually and then physically. However, it is impossible for it to begin if this warning is ignored. If your heart grows stiff at this point, it will be postponed. My adored child. The words you are reading do not consist of ink and text. They are carrying celestial brilliance. You're not scrolling down the screen. You're sitting at a divine table, receiving meals from the kitchen of paradise. And the oil on the table is a healing oil made by angels' hands, stirred in the basins of glory, and poured with your name on the scroll. According to Archangel Michael, this oil was scheduled to be released this evening. It must be consecrated within a specific time frame. Please avoid from postponing it. With a single act of obedience, you can unleash a wave of restoration you never imagined imaginable. My adored child, don't misjudge the current circumstances. Do not call this a coincidence. Refrain from telling yourself, "I'll return later to finish the task." According to Michael, if you leave during the message, the spiritual portal closes. The archangels are not limited by time, but your opportunity is. Every second is critical. Your body has been anticipating this type of intervention for several years. Do not let your own distractions or doubts keep you from achieving what you are capable of. My adored child, the angels chose tonight for a reason. They waited till your body met a certain threshold, a degree of spiritual development, a moment of divine preparation. Every request, every tear, and every time you said, "God, I trust you even though I don't understand," paved the way. You weren't aware of it. Heaven awaited the end of the curing procedure for that foundation. The impediments to healing can now be lifted. The roof of renewal can now be erected. According to Michael, the construction process begins when obedience responds affirmatively. My adored child, your epidermis is recovering its radiant quality. Your face is lighted. Your joints are supple. Your breathing will become more fast. Your body is currently aligning as you read this. Pain is being diverted. Cellular awakening is now ongoing. Fatigue is subsiding. The inflammation is subsiding. This is not imagination, Michael says. This is the process of change. However, if you do not complete this message, your body will temporarily cease the healing process since it is being guided by the voice that is still speaking. My adored child, if only you could detect the current state of the spirit. The spirits have assembled. The scroll has been unrolled. It is inscribed with your name, which is quite dazzling. And next to your name comes a description of your future body. Dazzling. Enhanced. Unencumbered. Recovered. However, the scroll awaits your signature. It cannot be enforced without your approval. Michael urges not to wait until symptoms worsen before accepting them. Act on whispers, not roars. My adored child, you are not particularly elderly. It's not too late for you. You are not seriously hurt. In addition, you are not disqualified. Heaven did not utter those lies over your life, though the earth may have. Heaven has always viewed you as divine real estate, a hallowed property fit for miracles. Your body serves as a sacred temple. According to Archangel Michael, the enemy assaulted you not because you are weak, but because you deserve to be healed. And tonight, heaven retaliates on your behalf. My adored child. The battle for your body has already begun in regions beyond your awareness. The feelings of lethargy, delay, or tiredness you've been having are the result of that conflict. However, the archangels were triumphant. They kept you safe from the most terrible features of the situation. And now they're attempting to regain what was nearly seized. According to Michael, the stolen item will be returned sevenfold as long as you continue to believe that you are deserving. If you've lost faith in your body, tonight is your chance to recover it. Not by your own strength, but via the power of divinity. My adored child. Isn't it odd that your name appears regularly in divine conversations? However, why are holy entities still observing you in your position of weakness? The explanation is that your aim did not expire. And your body, this vessel, is still required for the accomplishment of that calling.
Certain objects are only yours to transport.
Assignments that are solely your responsibility. Voices like yours are unusual. Michael says that your voice, contact, and walk are all important.
Your body must first be restored to its divine state. And the repair is currently ongoing, breath by breath. My adored child. My adored child. Secrets are hidden inside your body. Secrets you are not aware you have inherited. A chunk of the burden you carry is not even your own. It was passed down from your mother or her mother before her, and it is part of your heritage. However, Michael claims that you have been chosen by God to break the cycle. You were not meant to bear their illnesses, delays, or injuries. Despite their willingness to reset your body narrative, the archangels are waiting for your permission. In addition, ignoring this will be interpreted as a denial. My adored child. As you looked in the mirror, you felt uneasy. Your intuition has signaled that the energy within you does not align with the destiny you believe is yours. It is not the product of your imagination. Your spirit is letting you know that the time has come. You were not meant to live in a body that is tired and deteriorating. You are a vessel of splendor, designed to hold heavenly flames. However, the mission cannot be extended until the body is revived. Archangel Michael says that the period of expectancy has ended. The gap between delay and destiny is clear tonight. Your body will react when you cross it. My adored child. Do you understand the rarity of 3 archangels descending on a single person? This is not a normal circumstance. This is uncommon. According to Archangel Michael, heaven only allows this type of attention when your body is connected to an important spiritual event. Your body serves as a conduit for an upcoming occurrence. That is why they are observing. This is why people are muttering. This is why you receive this message before anyone else. You have been identified, selected, and allocated a place. However, ignoring this will delay the miracle that is striving to penetrate your cells. My adored child. They've seen the physical trials your body has experienced. They've seen you cry in secret when no one else understands your pain. During a period when physicians neglected. On the decline of your fortitude. While you pretended to be healthy. Heaven, on the other hand, kept track of everything. In addition to observing, the angels are encircling you tonight, encouraging you to take action. According to Michael, this is the first time you've been provided access to the information shared about you in the heavenly domain. Please do not let your uncertainties keep you from reading anymore, as your body will alter significantly after this letter ends. My adored child. The strange sensations you've been experiencing are caused by an evacuation from your body. An object that is inappropriate. A concealed poison. Psychological parasite. Years ago, a curse was spoken over you, and it has taken up residence in your body. But tonight, the archangels are placing their palms over that same area. According to Michael, the grip of that hidden poison begins to lessen as you embrace this message. When you scroll past it, it remains in place. You have the authority to choose the next course of action. This is the extent to which heaven respects your decision. My adored child. Currently, a light is forming over your head. As you are reading this, that is not poetic language. In fact, it is quite literal. It may not be visible to the physical sight, but your spirit is already aware of it. The messenger angel, Archangel Gabriel, has begun speaking words across your body. And such words have the potential to promote healing, reconstruction, renewal. He is immediately addressing your bones, skin, and organs. However, those words are lighthearted. They must be grounded in faith. The words will return to paradise if you go. If you do not leave, they will invade your bloodstream. My adored child, have you noticed how quickly time passes lately? It is not the product of your imagination. The heavenly body has hastened the schedule. You are being dragged forward into the divine timeline. Additionally, your body must be prepared to handle it. Divine timing cannot be maintained in a weary organism. This is the reason the archangels are present. This is why this communication was delivered to you. According to Michael, this communication had to reach you before the next iteration could begin. If you open now, you will be entering a new body cadence. A wonderful cadence. A pattern of fortitude. An extraordinary burst of life. My adored child. The exhaustion you are feeling is not symptomatic of your susceptibility. It is due to your body's involvement in spiritual conflicts without your complete understanding. However, you are now becoming aware. Additionally, consciousness is a transformational force. You are more than just a collection of bones and breath. You are a sanctuary. Temples must be maintained, guarded, and lit with holy flames. Michael claims that you have allowed a large number of external voices to govern your body. However, the only voice to be heard tonight is that of paradise. Furthermore, the words they say have the ability to entirely reset your system. Yes, you only need to say one syllable. My adored child. A divine being is growing beneath your epidermis. You may have felt that your exhaustion was caused solely by aging, stress, and life. However, this is not the case. This is spiritual. A rejuvenation is occurring beneath the surface. Heaven has decided that your body is more worthy of consideration than your life. You are being assigned vitality, exaltation, radiance. However, the vessel needs to be prepped. This is the purpose for transmitting this message tonight. You have not missed your moment, declares Archangel Michael. However, if you postpone another day, it may be transferred to another person. My adored child. From the other side, a brilliance is visible around you. A hallowed brightness. This is why some people have started acting strangely around you. Certain people are attracted to you. A few are repelled. This is because the mark of heaven is becoming more evident. Furthermore, the adversary is constantly working to undermine what is beginning to grow into a bright characteristic. However, the archangels are still on duty. Raphael is recuperating. Gabriel is currently engaged in chat. Michael is a leader. They're encircling your body, ready to perform a holy operation. However, this is dependent on your ability to remain silent, unhurried, and receptive. My adored child. If you are feeling heated right now, even if it is gentle on your face, back, or limbs, it is not caused by your own body. That is a manifestation of the celestial presence. Furthermore, the feeling of shivers is not indicative of dread. That's a wing brush. One of them is currently reaching out to you. Not to create harm, but to provide blessings. Pass it on. To reignite a dormant flame. Michael claims that this flame is your inheritance. Life concealed it despite the fact that it was implanted in you before you were born. We'll disclose it tonight. However, you must avoid from scrolling beyond this point. Only if you hold it as sacred. My adored child. Currently, an element of sanctity exists in the invisible gap between this communication and your spirit. Is this something that speaks to you? Is there a sense that something beyond words is calling to you? Michael asserts that this is more than just a perspective. This is an encounter. And this isn't available to everyone. 3 archangels have etched your name on an altar in a spiritual healing room. You are being extended an invitation. They have been anticipating your quiet for a long time in order to connect with you. Avoid moving. Do not dismiss this. Currently, a sacred process is beginning. My adored child. I am inviting you now, my child, my darling, as time is running out. This evening, a voice from above broke through the silence. It's your mother. As you read this, her essence is in your presence. Archangel Michael advises that this summons should not be ignored. The moment may never reappear because it has already passed. The heavens are trembling as your name reverberates in the light chambers. She has one last item she would like to share with you that she did not reveal during her existence. She was unable to divulge it before her death. This is your last opportunity. Now allow your spirit to grow. Please keep from abandoning me until the end. The miracle is approaching. This message is crucial and should not be overlooked. If this word resonates with you, please subscribe immediately to ensure that you never miss another divine message. The knowledge you're about to learn has the power to change your life. If you are ready for God to help you and believe these words are real, please type Amen in the comments section below. This is your method of communicating to heaven that you are attentive and have an open heart. You are being observed by the spirits. Your decision is being documented by the heavens. What are you going to do? Ignore the voice begging you not to do so and choose between listening or closing this. Tonight, the atmosphere is heavy with a message that cannot be postponed. The veil between this world and the afterlife has been lifted, my beloved. Your mother's voice came from a location where time does not exist. You thought she had vanished, yet she is still at her current place. More than the air in your chest or the pulse in your heart, you can feel her presence. She begged God to give her one final chance to speak with you. Archangel Michael has conveyed her words across the blazes of heaven, making them apparent. This isn't an error. This isn't a fake. God is directing you to this spot because He knows that if you do not receive this message right away, you will miss out on an opportunity to experience a moment that was set for your destiny before you were born. Truths remain concealed when a soul is ensnared by the body. Between the living and the dying, emotions are suppressed, secrets are kept, and words are not spoken. Your mother carried these truths with her when she passed away and joined God. She is now vibrating with light, as her love for you is stronger than the silence of death. She was unable to sleep until you informed her of the final fact. She was unable to continue into the gardens of paradise until she spoke the words she had never said to you on earth in your heart. For this reason, she begged Archangel Michael to convey this to you right now tonight, before the hourglass runs out and her voice fades into stillness. Be alert, as she is not discussing trifling stuff. She talks about the route you're on, the dangers around you, and the hands that seem to love you but actually hold a dagger. She talks about the marvel that carries your name. It's so close you could almost touch it, but it's so delicate that a single misstep could destroy it. She prayed for you during her lifetime. She wept tears of love every night as she struggled to fall asleep. She surrounded you with undetectable murmurs. She asserts that those petitions did not perish with her. They ascended into the throne room of heaven like incense. They are still burning in front of God's altar, pleading for His protection and blessing. Do not disregard this matter. The subsequent moments contain the key to your breakthrough. If you dismiss this message too quickly, you may miss the command that will activate your miracle. Stay until the conclusion. Continue to remain, as your mother has more information to share. Continue to stay, as Archangel Michael has not yet finished his warning. Continue to remain, as the hand of God is reaching out to you. Everything in your life can change in an instant if you return to faith. I'd want to stress that if this message speaks to you, please consider subscribing at this time. For the words of paradise are being revealed in parts and pieces. The subsequent revelation is imminent. Disconnecting may result in the loss of the very sign for which you have been praying. In this scenario, subscription is about more than just a channel. It is about keeping your heart connected to the current stream of divine truth. Execute the activity quickly and enable the heavens to witness your readiness. According to your mother, the period of confusion and disorientation has concluded. She has observed you questioning your own judgment. Is it true that you were selected and loved? Is it truly possible for God to hear your prayers? She wants you to know that she never forgets about you. All of your whispered prayers in the darkness were plainly heard. The one who created the heavens heard every cry you let out when no one was listening. She carried the requests up as a religious tribute. They remain alive in the sight of God's glory. She desires for you to cease doubting your value. God has already informed you that you are valuable. You are more valuable than gold, kings, and the entire universe. The opponent is really upset with you. They understand that once you fully awaken to your true identity, the plan that has been devised for your life will be unstoppable. Your mother's voice trembles with excitement as she says your name. She claims that she has observed you during the hours of silence. She claims she couldn't take her attention away from you, even in heaven, when you thought no one could see your tears, or that your pain was hidden beneath a brave front. A mother's affection is forever. Even when the cadaver is lowered into the earth, it remains unbroken. She insists that you must be aware of this. Each hurdle you've met has been included into a larger design. None of it was squandered. The days you carried burdens that were too weighty for your shoulders, the nights you questioned God, and the betrayals that cut deeper than knives. The entirety of it was observed. Everything was accounted for. Even today, everything is being redeemed. She claims that the moment is approaching. A miracle so radiant that even your enemies will be in awe will be the response to the agony you have endured. If you are ready to receive this brilliant miracle and see your pain answered with glory, leave a powerful amen in the comments. Claim the breakthrough that has been engraved for you by allowing your declaration to rise to the sky. This message is further validated by Archangel Michael, who is depicted holding a flaming sword of light. He declares that the Most High has given him to you to guard your route and clear the way ahead. He claims that there are spiritual forces that have been impeding your progress, whispering lies into your mind and persuading you that your prayers are unheard. However, he claims that such myths are debunked tonight. He argues that the fortresses that have imprisoned you are currently being dismantled, not by your own strength, but through supernatural intervention, which began when your mother's petition reached the throne. Archangel Michael informs you that certain individuals in your vicinity are apprehensive about your ascension. They've been attempting to block your development. Some people have grinned at you with envy. Some individuals have murmured, but they have since used their words against you when you were not present. Some people even pretended to secure your protection while instilling concerns in your mind. Archangel Michael forecasts that their schemes will fail. Heaven has set a border around you. He asserts that the coverings will be removed in the near future. It will be clear who is on your side and who is against you. However, it is unnecessary to be apprehensive about this reality. It will cause you no harm. It will release you. God proclaims, "I would prefer that you walk in the light alone than with shadowy individuals who pose as friends." Prepare your spirit. Clarity and liberty are imminent. Your mother has talked once again. Her tone is gentle yet imperative. She claims that she is aware of the uncertainties that develop in your mind during the late hours of the evening. Questions about one's worthiness, entitlement to pleasure, and the possibility that God has overlooked them. She asserts that those beliefs are not divine. She claims they are arrows launched from the enemy's camp with the objective of preventing you from fully embracing what has been prepared for you, keeping you tiny and instilling dread. I implore you not to believe those fabrications. Your affection is boundless. You've been selected. You're deserving. Furthermore, the benefit that is coming is not the consequence of your merit. Grace is flowing toward you like an uncontrollable river. Your mother is on your mind. She also emphasizes that her words are replete with affection. You possess an inner fortitude that you are unaware of. She silently prayed while holding your hand when you were younger. She prayed that you would develop the strength necessary to endure cyclones as you matured. After what should have killed you, she feels your requests are what keep you alive. Avoid additional self-criticism. Do not judge your future based on mistakes from the past. You are no longer the same individual you were previously. You are growing into a person who is more important and superior than she ever thought. She communicates her admiration for you in a way that goes beyond words. Furthermore, she claims that many people have vanity. God is proud of his cherished child who endured against the weight of the universe. She asserts that there are individuals in your life who are currently unaware of your worth. They may underestimate you, ignore you, or, in the worst-case situation, appear to be supportive while secretly expecting you to fail. However, she cautions you against expending your energy in an attempt to demonstrate your worthiness to them. Your fate is not dictated by their opinion of you. God's words spoken over you are more powerful than their judgment. Their permission is not required for the actions he has in mind for you. She encourages you to concentrate on the future rather than the past. People who departed were leaving an opening for the right people to enter. The closed doors protected you from potentially dangerous paths. God's method of ensuring that everything is precisely aligned so that the breakthrough is undeniable was demonstrated by the delays you encountered. The Archangel Michael has once more spoken. His voice is similar to the thunder that echoes over the heavens. He claims that a transformation is coming that will have a dramatic impact on your entire existence, not through disaster, but through ascension. He claims that you are on the brink of a promotion that you did not anticipate, and that opportunities that appeared to be unattainable will abruptly become accessible. Those who neglected you will search for you. The previously withheld resources will again be available for usage. He claims that this is not a coincidence. He cautions you to be humble in the face of this heavenly orchestration. The portals that humility opened will be closed by pride. He believes that the promotion is both for and through you. You are blessed so that you can bless others. You are being raised in order to assist others in the same manner. Your mother's voice returns, engulfing both hope and grief. She regrets that she was unable to impart these information to you during her lifetime. Unfortunately, the timing was not ideal. The words were encapsulated within her, anticipating the moment when you would be prepared to hear, receive, and act upon them. She thinks she has seen the future that awaits you. It much exceeds your greatest expectations in terms of attractiveness. Laughter will replace the tears that were shed. In place of shortage, there will be abundance. There will be peace in the midst of chaos. However, she also cautions you that the adversary is aware of the impending events. He will try to divert your attention, discourage you, or obstruct your progress before you arrive. He should not be given that authority, she insists. Maintain your eyes on the heavens. Retain your faith in your spirit. Regardless of the sensation of walking through flames, keep moving forward. The Spirit of God is currently communicating. His voice is both calming and authoritative. I am about to embark on a new endeavor in your life, he declared. Conventional patterns are being broken. The previous constraints are being eliminated. The prior incarnation of yourself is being discarded, like to a worn-out garment. He claims you are entering a moment of unprecedented favor. Doors that have been sealed for generations will be unlocked for you. The cycles that have afflicted your family will end with you. You are the breakthrough generation. You are the fulfillment of the aspirations of those who preceded you. He assures you that the activities he is taking in you right now will have a long-term impact on your entire lineage, bringing healing, restoration, and blessing to those who come after you. However, he says that it is critical to let go of the past, forgive those who have wronged you, let go of bitterness, and let go of the desire for vengeance, because unforgiveness is the chain that binds you to yesterday. Furthermore, he plans to summon you tomorrow. Your mother's voice is now characterized by a sense of urgency. She claims that the letter is approaching its expiration date. The window is rapidly closing. The occasion is fleeting. She implores you not to forfeit this opportunity. She claims she struggled for the ability to interact with you. She will not receive an additional one. So she asks that you listen with your entire being. She asserts that the threat she forewarned you about is genuine. There are people in your immediate surroundings who are not who they seem to be. Despite wearing friendly masks, they have envy in their minds. They smile at you, but they speak poison behind your back. She claims that God is about to reveal them, not to cause you harm, but to safeguard you. The revelation of the truth will be painful. However, it will release you. She asserts that there is no need for concern regarding that disclosure. Accept it. Allow the false to dissipate in order to preserve the genuine. When you realize individuals who actually support you, treat them with respect and keep them in high regard. They are uncommon gifts in a world that is rife with counterfeits. Archangel Michael lifts his sword once more. The pathway is illuminated by the light emanating from it. He asserts that you have been in a period of preparation. It turned out to be more complex and time-consuming than you expected. However, he has declared that the season is concluding at this time. Testing has ended. The training has completed. You are prepared. Furthermore, the events that follow will need you to apply all you learned in the woods. He warns against being discouraged by the passing of time, Nothing was wasted. Each tear fertilized the kernel of your destiny. Each hurdle helped to strengthen your determination. Every setback has prepared you for the upcoming resurrection. Your mother's final words are full of love and brilliance. She asserts that she is pleased of you. I am proud of your perseverance in the face of adversity. You should be proud of your decision to favor love over hatred, as it would have been easier. You are proud of your capacity to keep your faith in the face of mounting skepticism. She has stated that she will persist in her prayers for you from the other side of eternity. These prayers will accompany you throughout your life. She claims that experiencing an unexpected sense of calm in the middle of chaos is characteristic of her. She is present when you experience an unexpected tenderness in your heart. Her prayers are fulfilled when you discover a strength you were not aware you possessed. She closes with this: I cherish you, my darling. I've always had feelings for you. You'll be in my heart forever. In addition, I anticipate our reunion at some point. However, in the meantime, enjoy life to its utmost.
Demonstrates profound affection. Complete confidence. The miracle is approaching.
The breakthrough is approaching. Nothing can stop you from following God's plan. Please transmit this video immediately. By transmitting this message to others, you invite divine intervention and breakthrough into your network. The energy will then be transferred to your particular existence. Finally, to demonstrate your trust, click the like icon. As you agree, let the forefinger to turn blue as a signal, signifying that you desire the favors of God and the fulfillment of each and every promise contained within this message. Finally, the Holy Spirit speaks in an incontrovertible manner. My child, you are about to enter a period of heavenly metamorphosis. Things that were meant to harm you will eventually become beneficial. What was taken from you will be returned to you 7 times over. The doors that were shut on your face will be reopened. However, not by individuals, but by myself. The narrative you recount to others will be shaped by the tears you release behind closed doors. Individuals who have disparaged your suffering will be there to see your recovery. They will recognize that it was not a result of chance, fate, or coincidence. My hand was upon you. There is no need for alarm about the delay. There is no harm in being tardy. Do not be apprehensive about the silence, because that is the place from which miracles are produced. I am still in the process of establishing and aligning things behind the scenes. You are not as isolated as you may think. You are almost there. However, you cannot see it yet. Amen. My narrative is evolving. Write it down as a testament to your faith, ensuring that you are convinced of God's assurance that you will be fine. Archangel Michael once more elevates his voice. Fear not the shadows that appear in opposition to you. He claims that the warfare escalates right before the win. This is why certain things may have appeared heavier recently. The cause of your unanticipated setbacks. What is the cause of the sudden development of storms? This is due to the fact that the adversary is aware that your breakthrough is imminent. His most recent attempt to force you to retreat. However, the conflict has already been resolved, as Archangel Michael assures you. Take a determined position. Avoid becoming depressed. Don't allow fatigue to induce you to give up, for the morning is breaking. The light will reveal that you were safe the entire time. The Lord declares, I am about to open a door that no man can shut. He believes you will be able to recognize it. It will not be achieved through effort, manipulation, or pleading for recognition from others. It will occur abruptly, seamlessly, and without question. It will be accompanied by peace. It will appear to be the missing component you've been looking for. And when it arrives, you'll know that the entire period of waiting was for this. Your mother's spirit is now more resolute, as if she is unable to conceal the information she must disclose. She claims that there are hidden objects in your surroundings that you have yet to discover. Conversations that occur in private. Decisions that are made without your knowledge. Subtle betrayals that your emotions noticed, but your mind dismissed. She claims that heaven is about to reveal these truths to you, not to harm you, but to set you free. She claims that for an excessive amount of time, shadows have remained in close proximity, disguising themselves as compassion, love, and loyalty. However, those guises are being consumed by God's light. In the near future, each disguise will be erased. She urges you to refrain from clinging to those who have been revealed. Once the truth is revealed, you must refrain from seeking to conceal what God has shown. She states, "My child, when God reveals, it is not cruelty. Mercy is the term." What other reason would you be unoccupied? This image is reinforced by Archangel Michael, who stands upright with his flame-tipped sword. He claims to have engaged in invisible wars in order to shield you from the traps laid by jealous hearts. He claims that the adversary attempted to construct a web of deceptions around your fate in the hopes that you would become entangled in it. However, they were eventually defeated by Archangel Michael. He claims that all attempts to curse, imprison, or restrict you have already failed. He asserts that you are enveloped in fire, and no darkness can endure it. And he cautions you that you must bear this in mind when the exposure occurs. Their loyalty was never based on your safety. Your security was always in God's hands. Your mother's voice then drops to a calmer pitch, as if it were a lullaby that has echoed throughout time. She claims that she is aware of the profound yearning you have for stability, for love that is unwavering, and for companionship that will not betray you. She believes that she felt the same urge throughout her human life. She hoped that God would keep your heart safe from deceitful connections. She asserts that those petitions are currently being answered. She guarantees that the feelings of isolation you occasionally experience are not indicative of abandonment. It's divine protection. God is preserving your uniqueness not because you are neglected, but because you have been selected. And at the perfect time, individuals who truly embody light will be drawn to you. God Himself will place individuals in your path who genuinely honor your soul. She says, "Relax, do not act hastily. Heaven has far more in store for you than you are willing to accept." My child, the Spirit of God shakes the atmosphere as these words resonate through the air. I am about to astonish you, He says. The blessing will not appear in the way you think. It will arrive unexpectedly and take an unusual route. He says that you will reflect on the past and recognize that the delays, detours, and disappointments were all necessary steps that ultimately led to this precise moment. He says, "Believe me when I say that I have not forgotten the specifics. I have an intimate awareness of your requirements that exceeds your ability to explain them. I will react with abundance, not just a scattering." He asserts that your narrative will undergo a rapid transformation. Those who formerly felt sorry for you would be unable to comprehend your quick rise. In addition, you will climb through His might rather than your own. Your mother whispers once more, imploring you to continue to be attentive to the indications. She claims that God has already communicated with you in subtle ways, such as through repeating numbers, dreams, and the sudden awakening of your spirit when you encounter specific people. She warns against dismissing these findings as coincidences. They serve as indicators along the path you are traversing. When you come across them, she recommends taking a time to observe and listen. God is seeking to capture your attention at precisely that moment. She urges you to walk with awareness rather than blindly moving, as the adversary has attempted to deceive you with distractions. She does, however, guarantee that you will never be misled if you listen to the murmuring. She claims that she was unable to provide you with the most comprehensive guidance throughout my time on Earth. However, I am currently in closer proximity than I have ever been. The very guidance that God sends you is interwoven with my petitions. Archangel Michael raises his voice again, stating with authority that the financial chains that bind you are breaking. He believes that the cycles of rising and falling, the scarcity and lack you have endured are coming to an end. He claims that provision has been released from heaven and is en route. He claims that there is no reason to be concerned about the figures in your account. Heaven's numbers are considerably greater. The image you're currently viewing is temporary. I release something that is eternal. He warns against being misled by prospects that appear to be too quick, too spectacular, or too appealing. For not all open doors come from God. However, he assures you that you will be able to identify the appropriate door. It will provide calm, not stress, and clarity, not uncertainty. Furthermore, he claims that by traveling it, you will not only receive sustenance for yourself, but also surplus for your loved ones and infant. Through weeping, your mother is currently smiling. She asserts that the impending miracle is for you as well as future generations. She asserts that the decisions you make today will have a lasting impact on the future. She claims that the chains removed from your life will have no effect on your children, grandchildren, or future generations. She claims that you are the crucial character, the one who changes the family's story. According to her, the decisions you make in faith today will leave a legacy of light tomorrow. So do not underestimate the power that your obedience is unleashing. If you believe that this blessing will break the plague in your family, please leave a remark stating that the curse will cease with me. Allow this to serve as your definitive declaration that you are embarking on your divine mission to provide your family with blessings and liberation. The Spirit of God concludes this section with an unbreakable promise. I will finish the assignment quickly. I shall carry it out abruptly. I will carry it out in such a way that no one will be able to deny that it was done by me. He asserts that you will be in astonishment. You will subdue your rivals. Your peers will be overjoyed. Your consciousness will experience a sensation of peace it has never known before. He requests that you remain with me. Believe me. Do not turn back. In that moment, you realize that this message was more than just a collection of words. It was a covenant that was spoken over your life,